Welcome to this week's midweek video. I got thinking Carrie's been whomping us in every challenge that she's been a part of, so Corbin and I put our heads together and tried to think of a challenge that might be a little bit more difficult for Carrie so we can look a little bit better during these things. So we decided to pick guns for this one, or some kind of a shooting activity. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna shoot to see who we're shooting for. First up we have Corbin, who will be shooting. See who he'll be shooting for. 9. Elena. Now we will see who Julie is shooting for. She's by 10. Cassin. Julie will be shooting for Cassin. Now we'll see who Carrie's shooting for. She shot 8. 8 is Isaac.
We'll see who Josh is shooting for.
4.
Corbin.
We're gonna have the grenade toss, so we have to keep our hand behind our body and toss it overhand like there's an imaginary wall in front of us. The goal is to get it in the bucket. In the bucket's 2 points. If you splatter the bucket or hit the bucket, it's only worth 1 point, and if we miss, no points.
And this is the grenade.
Okay, first up is Corbin. Oh, he missed. Okay, now we have Julie shooting or throwing for Cassin. And she misses. All right, Carrie throwing for Isaac. Oh, so close.
Now we have Josh throwing for Corbin.
Almost got the camera woman.
Okay, Isaac, we are going to argue with the judges here because we are pretty sure that the judges said if the water balloon splashed the bucket.
If you splatter the bucket or hit the bucket, it's only worth 1 point.
You got 1 point. And I want to argue for my 1 point. So this is my water balloon, and it is wet from here all the way to these droplets that you can see on the front of the bucket, and that is from my awesome aim. So I think Isaac gets 1 point.
All right, for round 2, we have Corbin shooting for Elena at 2 targets. So we have 5 shots to try to hit 2 targets. 1 point for each target. Oh, a little bit high. On the right target, it looked like. Oh, he hits the right one. Nice! 3 shots, 2 targets. Good job, Corbin. All right, we have Julie shooting for Cassin. Nice, first shot takes out the first one. Oh, and it hit the second one. It didn't knock down, but we can see a hole in the bottom. Oh, there, knocked down. Good job. 2 shots, 2 targets. Okay, we have Carrie shooting for Isaac. All right, she got the first target. Oh, got the second target. We see a hole, 2 shots, 2 hits. This is not looking good for me. Carrie is excelling at this as well. All right, little does Carrie know standing is actually harder to shoot with, so now I feel obligated that I have to stand because I can't let her one-up me.
Josh is shooting for Corbin.
Oh, look at that. I shot one without even shooting. Bonus points, I think, for me. It's falling down in submission. Oh, look at that, right dead center, right? All right, did you get a good shot of that?
Yes.
Okay, I think I hit that one, it just didn't make a dent.
We heard it hit.
All right, so this one, we're shooting at 2 water balloons, and we'll get 3 shots to try to hit 2 targets with the 22. Wanna pump it? All right. Nice. Okay, we have Julie shooting for Casson. Nice. One shot, one hit. Nice. One shot, one hit. Alright, one more shot to get the second one. Oh! How do we count that one? It rolled the balloon. Julie, the trick shot. Okay, Carrie's shooting for Isaac. Nice! First shot, one hit. Nice! 2 for 2.
We have Josh playing for Corbin.
Oh no!
Just want to say he's been shown up by his wife and son. Oh, redeemed yourself.
Alright, so in this round we're going to use a trebuchet. We're going to fling a water balloon up in the air, and our task is to try to catch it out there. We'll be standing out there when the trebuchet launches. As long as we get wet or catch or get hit by the balloon somewhere before it hits the ground, it counts for 2 points. Alright, let's do this.
Ready, Corbin?
Okay, ready, Julie? Okay, we have Corbin, who is playing for Elena, who has 4 points right now. And the object is to try to get the marshmallow into your mouth for 2 points. Or if it hits a part of the body, does it have to stick, Julie?
Yes.
Okay, and stick, then you get a point.
Ready?
No point there.
That was my phone, no good.
Ready?
Toss on the hand, so no extra points. Alright, now we have Julie playing for Casson. Julie currently has 3 points. She now has 4 points.
No, hey! You should be the best. Ready? Yeah.
So Julie ends with 4 points. Okay, I'm going for Corbin, and we currently have 6 points. We are 1 point behind Carrie. I got this.
But what if it stuck to the top of your head? That would be hilarious. Ready?
Extra stuff. Yes, I'm ready.
Oh!
Man, I wasn't ready yet.
I asked.
Oh, I didn't know you meant that. for Isaac, and this is kind of the victory lap because she has 7 points and none of us was able to take that.
Let's see if she can get any extra.
Ready? Oh, almost.
I made it to the table.
Almost.
Beef. All right.
No.
Are you ready?
Oh, I said I didn't know.
Oh.
No, I hit the floor.
Well, congratulations, Isaac. Due to Carrie's winning streak, the only time she ever didn't win was when she wasn't even involved in the games. So we still have to figure out a way to make Carrie not win. But for you, Isaac, congratulations to you. That makes you this week's winner. Okay, to choose who the winner's gonna be, we're gonna try shooting skeet, because we haven't done this in a long time, so who knows how long it's gonna take for us to hit one. So I wrote names on the back of the skeet. That's the person that is our winner. Left-handed doesn't work.
Do you need me to move over?
No, you should go.
Oh.
Oh, I hit it backwards. All right, Karen M.
Oh.
All right, we're going for Jack. Oh. I don't know if I got her to the tree. All right, Karen Y.
And pull.
All right, we're pulling for Alma. Pull.
You hit it, right?
What's that?
Did you hit it?
Yep.
Yeah!
Woo! All right, Alma. Well, congratulations, Alma and Isaac. We'll be getting your gifts out to you shortly, within the week. One of the sections in the Bible that I want to take just a little bit of time looking at today comes from Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 8. Now really it kind of starts at the tail end of verse 7, so I'm going to start there. It says, "What your eyes have seen, do not hastily bring into court. For what will you do in the end when your neighbor puts you to shame?" This is an interesting concept, and when reading that passage, it reminded me of the introduction to one of Lee Strobel's books, A Case for Christ. Now, it's been a while since I've read that book, so I don't know if I'll have all the details exactly right. I don't have access to the book right now, but you'll get the gist of what he brought out. He tells a story, or I shouldn't really use the term story because that insinuates that this might be made up. He tells of a situation in which person B, we're going to call them, goes to person A's house. And person B went there and had a concealed weapon on them. And when person B and A started talking, they started to disagree with one another, and a scuffle happened, and they were pushing and shoving on one another. And in that, person A gets shot. So person B then runs away and flees. And so the police come onto the scene. They find person A shot. They find the weapon of person B thrown into the bushes, missing a bullet out of that. And so when they find person A, when the police find person B, they plead guilty to doing the crime. So Lee kind of sets it up that way to show the idea of, see, you look at it and closed case. This is super simple. You know, person B came up, started a fight with person A. They had a gun on them. Their gun is missing a bullet. Person A is shot. They threw the gun and they pleaded guilty. What more is there to say on this case? But I think it was an investigator. Somehow somebody got there and they noticed a bullet hole down on the ground, off to the side of where they were fighting, and they recognized, going, wait a minute, this bullet hole doesn't line up where person A would have been shot. And so they started digging a little bit more into it and finding that the bullet that shot person A wasn't the same type of bullet that was in person B's gun. And so as they investigated more, they found out that person B, in the wrestling around that the two did, his gun went off in his side and shot the ground. In the events of everything that happens, they panic, they toss their gun to hide it, and they take off running. So what really killed, or what really shot person A? Well, they found out person A had one of those little pens that were a gun in itself, and in the fight, his pocket pen, the one that person A owned, shot himself during that time. So the next question was, well, why did person B plead guilty? And any of you that know how the court systems work, there's a plea bargain. And the prosecutor will try to get you to plead down to a lower charge and say you'll get less charges against you if we keep this out of court. And they'll use the idea of you'll spend less time in jail, things aren't looking good for you, or whatever. So person B, seeing all the evidence was looking against them, they decided to take the plea bargain, and part of that was to plead guilty. And so what seemed like a really closed case, the person pleaded guilty, they were missing a bullet out of their gun, they started a fight. In the long run, when all the evidence was taken into account, we see that, oh, really it wasn't the way it looked at all. Person B was innocent. Person A got shot by their own gun. So that story, I think, kind of falls in line with what we read in that proverb. Of what your eyes have seen, do not hastily bring it into court. I don't mean this just in the aspect of a court case that we take to somebody, but the principle that's behind this proverb. Things that we see with our eyes, that it seems like the facts speak for themselves, we need to be very careful of. Because sometimes the facts only seem like they're speaking out to us in a certain way because that's where our minds predetermine that information wants to go. Facts don't speak for themselves. That's actually a fallacy to say that. No fact ever steps up in court and says, I declare this. Facts are interpreted. And they're interpreted based off of a worldview or a thought process that an individual has. So, when we're on social media, when we're talking to our friends, let's be very careful not to jump to the conclusions that what we've seen, what we've read, these things must be true. Because maybe there's something out there that we've missed. And as the proverb warns us there at the end, for what will you do in the end when your neighbor puts you to shame? I don't want any of us to be in the place where somebody tears apart our argument because it was built on solid ground, because we jumped to conclusions, because we thought the facts speak for themselves, but there's way more to the issue than we ever would have realized. And that is in so many things that we hold opinions to, of what we see and we hear. There's usually way more to the story than what we originally ever thought, just like that case with the individual being shot. So if we go through life that way and realize we might be wrong, though we see stuff as a certain way, that might not necessarily be the case. And so let's go into discussions in conversations as learners, to ask people when they hold a position different than us and say, I'm curious to hear a little bit more about that. Can you do some explaining to me? See what they have to say, and then you can maybe make a determination on saying, that doesn't seem to add up logically or relationally or whatever it is stance you might take. But they might bring new information to the table that you will say, I never thought of that before. So hopefully we all can do that. We don't jump to conclusions and assume our opinions is right off the bat, but we're willing to listen to the other side and see maybe there's a part of this I haven't heard. And remember, sometimes the thing that looks completely wrong still might actually be right. Thanks for tuning in this week. Have a blessed rest of the week.